Husker Nation, the biggest win in Fred Hoiberg's coaching career.
You are Locked On Huskers, your daily podcast on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey gang, DP, Derrick Pearson here. Lincoln, Nebraska, home of the Fighting Huskers of the University of Nebraska. Lincoln, I want to thank you folks for joining us for Locked On Huskers, for making Locked On Huskers your first watch, listen, stop each and every single day. Greatly appreciate it. Thank the folks from Locked On Sports. We want to thank our sponsors. And this one's a new one. Are you ready for this one? Omaha Steaks. How about that? How about the big business? This is how I want to tell this story. As a young man, in my little house in Arlington, Virginia, the holidays didn't officially begin until our Omaha steak shipment showed up, because it meant that as kids, one, we were going to eat steaks, two, we were going to have hamburgers, and there was going to be no liver. Like that was the best news there. So when we got our delivery, that means the holidays are here. Achieve great gifting greatness when you give the perfect gift of aged, tender, and delicious Omaha steaks. The steak experts at Omaha Steaks have put together special curated gift packages to help take the guesswork out of gifting and make you a holiday hero. Go to omahasteaks.com and use the code locked on at checkout, and you'll get $30 off your order. Send an assortment of mouth-watering favorites, guaranteed to impress, like the legendary Butcher's Cut filet mignon, air-chilled boneless chicken, ultra-juicy burgers, and even easy-to-prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. Omaha Steaks is ready to ship your order right away. So shop early and beat the shipping rush. Go to omahasteaks.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. Omaha Steaks, it's a gift from the heart. A gift that will be remembered with every unforgettable bite. Order with complete confidence, knowing you're ordering the very best. Visit omahasteaks.com. Use the promo Locked On at checkout to get that extra $30 off your order. Minimum order may be required. Do it. Omaha Steaks. Seriously, it brings my 10-year-old me is smiling just thinking about Omaha Steaks, because it meant parents, you actually love me. You actually love me. All of that's true. All of that's true, because it was such a big deal. Do me a favor, Locked On Huskers, Locked On Go Big Red. Go into the bottom, go down here, and it's subscribe. Let's get the content. We want you to get the content first thing each and every single day. If you do that, it'd be greatly appreciated. Again, your comments are welcome. Put them down here at the bottom, and I will respond to them. They are seen and read, and you are appreciated. It is a big, huge day for Nebraska ball. The Huskers on both ends, both the boys and girls, the men and women, both with huge performances on the road against opponents that were higher ranked and they've had issues with in the past. The first win in Omaha for the Huskers since 2005, and the first win ever for the women's program against Maryland and the Brenda Freeze-led Maryland Terrapins. That program, they came into the game at number 20. Nebraska knocked them off, and then Creighton came into this game ranked at number 7. We'll start with the Huskers and Creighton, and the 63-53 win on the road is an accumulation of several things. One, mission and purpose by Fred Hoiberg. An understanding of what he felt like he needed his team to play like to win these sort of games. And if you asked any Husker fan, and you could tell me in the comments whether you agree with me or not, but I'm not sure there are any Husker fans who thought after this game they would be 6-3. Right? You can tell me in the comments whether you believe that, but to me, I'm not sure that that's where this thing projected. I think most fans would have said, look, if they come out of this 5-4, you've had a great, you did the things you were supposed to do. But the accumulation has been followed, one, in getting the new players into the system. The transfer portal, as much as people want to just blast it up and saying that it's ruining college athletics, to me, This is what the transfer portal allows you to do. And Fred Hoiberg determined in the offseason what he needed to do in order to be successful in these sorts of games, specifically in the Big Ten, and we'll get to measure that pretty quickly starting Wednesday. But he said, one, we need to be better defensively. We need to be longer. We need to be able to take away, cut off passing lanes. We need to make some disruptions in other people's offense with our length, our ability to get side to side, to close out and close out properly. And then he said we need to be better on the boards. And for them to send 5 people to the boards on either side of the floor, or on the defensive side of the floor, to not allow second chance points, which was a major burden and a major area of discomfort for Fred Hoiberg and the Huskers. So he said, I need to go out and get folks who are committed defensively. And that'll be the priority, that defensively you're going to have to expend your energy. The mantra is you rest on offense. On defense, you empty the tank. And this team has figured out that that is purposeful. That actually has meaning. This team held Creighton to 30% from the field and 25% from three. And they did it in an effective way so they weren't sending Creighton to the free throw line. Like, that's how important this was that the defensive energy was the focus. And what happens is defensive teams, actively defensive teams, then get easier buckets on offense. Right? Because you're the wear and tear of not making shots and constantly looking at the scoreboard. To find a team that gets its comfort on defense is rare. It's rare. There are certain programs that are able to do that. Syracuse has always been able to do that. Georgetown, back in its heyday, was able to do that. Indiana, under Bobby Knight, were defensive first teams. Those teams got their identity from their defense. And then offensively, look, they wore you down on defense. So offensively, they were just taking you to the rack knowing you were fatigued and you had spent all your energy. This was an impressive performance. And we'll go through some of the people. But when you talk about the transfer portal and you talk about Sam Griesel, a Lincoln kid who wanted to come home and had some success at a lower level and came home, and this was a game that he circled on his calendar, a game that he gave extra energy and emotion to because that was a game that he had seen and wanted to be a part of as he was growing up here. Then there's Juwan Gary, who came from the SEC in Alabama, who, quite frankly, he's seen the monsters. He's faced the monsters. This is not new to him in being able to play meaningful games against people who have more talent than you do. And then Emmanuel Bandamel, who comes in and who quite simply is the glue. He's the thing that allows them to be on time, to be in the right place. He is the pace setter. He calms things down. When Sam needs a break, he takes the ball and pushes Sam out and lets him recover. And then the real story, Derrick Walker, who transferred in via Tennessee, and his leadership is just all over the place. What a great day for Nebraska basketball. We'll talk more about the win over Creighton, and then we'll get into the women's game and that big win over Maryland. We will do that when we come back to Locked On Huskers. Welcome back to Locked On Huskers, and again, we want to thank the folks from Omaha Steaks. It has everything you need to give a gift that's simply perfect. Gifts like perfectly aged tender steaks, juicy burgers, decadent desserts. Okay, you got me there. And classic comfort meals. A gourmet gift from Omaha Steaks is a gift from the heart. A gift they'll remember with every unforgettable bite. Plus, with a special offer, get $30 off, minimum order required. Shop early and beat the shipping rush. Whether you're shopping for friends, family, colleagues, or yourself, every order is backed by their unconditional money-back guarantee. It's the world's best beef, naturally aged, tender, juicy, flavorful. Omaha Steaks has everything you need to deliver in an unforgettable holiday gift experience. 5 generations of family-owned expertise means uncompromising quality that you can trust. Every steak and every entree is flash frozen, vacuum sealed, and ready to share with your family. Every steak and every entree is backed by our unconditional 100% money-back guarantee. Use the Locked On code, Locked On, at checkout, and you'll get your $30 off. So we appreciate that. Thank you, the folks at Omaha Steaks. The numbers were pretty spectacular when you talk about what happened for the Huskers. And they were led, they shot well from the field. 28 of 59 from the field. They only took 12 shots from three. They shot 25% from three, but they had a 46-16 advantage points in the paint. Now, that's not a number. That's not a stat that's ever been recently or around Nebraska basketball. 46, a 30-point advantage in the paint, and Creighton shot 43s. That tells you defensively that they were look, it was way too difficult. They took away the middle. They doubled down on the post. They got to their closeout. They ran people off the three-point line. But when you settle for 43s and you're shooting it at a 25% clip, that's a lot of wasted possessions. That's a lot of wasted possessions. And look, Nebraska only went to the free throw line 7 times yesterday. 7 times. But here's a bigger stat. Through all of that defensive energy that they put out and all of those possessions, 65 shots, 40 of them from three, you're not getting fouled much, and the whistle's not being blown. And Creighton only went to the free throw line 5 times. 5 times. They were 3 for 5. And then the other part of it, Nebraska was +5 on the boards against a much bigger, much longer Creighton team. Down goes number 7, Creighton. That's a big win. Look, in this space, that is such a monumental big deal and such a big win. I'm not sure. I'm going to ask folks and put it in the comments and tell me what's the bigger win? Nebraska football beating Iowa in Iowa City, or Nebraska basketball beating Creighton in Omaha? What's the bigger win? Put your comments down in the bottom and we'll get to them. But just a spectacular day. And there's no rest. There's no rest for the Huskers. Sorry. Well done. You knocked off number 7 in the country. Guess what? You got to go to Bloomington. You got to face a team that was, again, they knocked off number 1 North Carolina. Right? So this is a good team. This is a talented Indiana team. Nebraska will go on the road to Bloomington Wednesday night to face the Hoosiers. Good stuff all the way around. Got to be impressed by it. But we'll cover some more of that in upcoming podcast episodes. On the other side, the women, if you asked me Friday to name the bigger upset and said the men go to Omaha and beat Creighton, or the women going to College Park and beating Brenda Fries and her Maryland Terrapin team, I'm not sure that I wouldn't have said, the men they don't have much shot, but they got a better shot than the women going to College Park and beating this Maryland team. Maryland is loaded. This is a super talented team. But for the second time in 3 games, Jazz Shelley put on a shooting performance in clutch against top-level defenders. Unlike anything, this is phenomenal. 6 of 10 from 3. Izzy Bourne was 4 of 5 from 3. And in crucial moments, I want to circle some stats for you just so you understand. Jazz Shelley finished. She played for all 40 minutes. Look, against Maryland, where you've got to carry the mail. Like, she's got to tote the mail. She's got to do the ball handling, get them in and out of offenses. But to play 40 minutes, 29 points in those, 3 steals, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds to go with her 29 points. Wow. If she's not at the top of the Big Ten Player of the Week category, I don't know who should be. Izzy Bourne was exceptional. 35 minutes. She gave you 6 rebounds, and in tough space against a big Maryland front court. 18 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists for Izzy Bourne. That sort of performance in the big time. But look, Alexis Markowski, who has grinded her way through this early part of the season, didn't have the best first half. But what she did is she went to work. She went to work. This was 14 points, 6 rebounds, four personal fouls, and 5 assists in a grind. In a grind. Well, she had 1 assist, but she in a grind. They were smacking her on the wrist and on the arms, and there was forearms to the back, and she stayed true to her game. Played well defensively as well. The story of the game for me, circle this one as well. Allison Widener, 29 minutes, 15 rebounds from the backcourt. 15 rebounds to go along with 5 assists and 13 points. The missing factor. This was the thing that you circle and go, wow, we got from it what we need to get from it. Maddie Kroll into the starting line, right? That's a great addition. Grinded. 35 minutes, was active defensively, great in the box-out game. I was surprised because Trinity Brady had been in the starting lineup. Maddie Kroll, for what she's done, she gets in. The reemergence of Annika Stewart and her ability to put points on the board in a hurry, 6 points in 11 minutes. Kendall Coley with 10 minutes on the floor. Kendall Moriarty, I still want to see more from because she plays better with Jazz and Allison. And the minutes will come. Not sure what the reasoning behind it is, but we will find that out. There's a lot in play. I have to be honest. They've got a difficult schedule as well. They're playing in the Big Ten Conference. We will go through that when we come back. What's up next for the Lady Huskers? They got a big one coming up at Pinnacle Bank Arena. We'll talk about that when we come back to Locked On Huskers. Welcome back to Locked On Huskers. I'm DP. Again, 93.7 The Ticket, Lincoln, America, right dead square in the heart of the Big Ten Conference. Don't let anybody fool you. You know, we're East Coast, West Coast, right in the middle. Right in the middle. That's how that was. I want to thank the folks from Omaha Steaks. Again, as a kid, they're very vivid memories of things that make you smile in full. And it's funny to me that a kid in Arlington, Virginia, I now live in Nebraska, and I never once put it into play that way. But when Omaha Steaks, when the box delivered, like my stepdad would tell us that it was coming. And then we would always have kind of one eye to it. And if you were the first one home from school, of course, the younger kids were home first. And you get home, and there on the porch, there it was in its magnificence. And we weren't allowed to open it. We had to call Mom first and tell her it was there. And then we had to call her at work and stay on the phone and unwrap it. So we made sure all the items were there. And the steaks were the grand thing of all of it. But listen, this was back in 1972. Omaha Steaks has been around. It's been America's original butcher since 1917. And a holiday gift that's guaranteed to be loved, quality, convenience, and everything you need to deliver an unforgettable holiday gift experience. Omaha Steaks. Again, remember, use Locked On as your code at checkout. Get $30 off. Do that. For the women Huskers, last year was a great season, but there was a bit of a roller coaster ride. It settled into its high level of play with its first Big Ten win. And getting that against Maryland on the road was wonderful. But the true measure of this team is how they handle success. Because what you can't do after going to College Park and beating number 20 Maryland is coming home and laying an egg against Wisconsin. So, handle your success, Nebraska. Ladies, please. Handle your business. It's Wisconsin and then Samford. On Saturday, they'll take a break, a week off. And over the course of the next few podcast episodes, we'll cover men's basketball, women's basketball, and then the Husker football offseason, transfer portal, new coaching staff, all of those things. You'll find your information here on Locked On Huskers, Locked On Go Big Red. We'll finish with the three words that rained all over the state yesterday. Thanks to Nebraska ball. Go Big Red!